Hi guys, how you guys doing? I hope you're fine. It's been a while since I posted, but I just wanted to react. I was listening to some interpretations of the Book of Enoch, people trying to explain the, they were trying to explain the Nephilim, and they're talking about how Nimrod was a Nephilim. Yeah, and personally, I've posted a lot about this topic, and I just felt like maybe I should do some more about it because you know that um, the Book of Enoch and the Book of Jubilees are in the Ethiopian Bible, right? And I talk a lot about Ethiopia and Cush, yeah? And you know, Cush was the father of Nimrod, yeah? Yeah, so I was really keen on now not looking at the Book of Jasher because my earlier videos really talked a lot about the Book of Jasher. But right now I'm just trying to see it from the lens of the Book of Jubilees. And initially I said that in my earlier videos, I need to correct that Nimrod does not appear in the Book of Jubilees, but apparently he does. He does appear in the Book of Jubilees, and in a surprising way, he's not depicted the same way he's depicted in the Book of Jasher, because in the Book of Jubilees, Nimrod is introduced as an ancestor of Abraham. Yeah, we see that in the Book of Jubilees, chapter 8, verse 7. It is recorded that Eber took Azurad, the daughter of Nimrod, as his wife. And we see that the, the Greek name of Nimrod is Nimrod. So he's mentioned as the father of Azurad. So Azurad's sole appearance in the narrative is as the wife of Eber and the mother of Peleg. You know, Eber, some people like to interpret that Eber is the father of the Hebrews. And she is the mother of Peleg. So we see here that the fact that Nimrod was the grandfather of Peleg, and you know that Peleg means division, because during his lifetime that was the time the children of Noah began dividing the earth among themselves after the Tower of Babel. So because Azurad, Nimrod's daughter, is in direct ancestral line of Eber, she's the great-grandmother to Abraham. And this contrasts to the broader biblical tradition which tends to frame Nimrod solely as a wicked king, the architect of Babel, and a violent ruler who opposed God. Yeah? So we can see a bit more about Abraham, where we see that he's coming from royalty. He was part of the Chaldean royalty. And we see here that Shem and Ham intermixing, yeah. And this goes back to what I've been talking about, the curse of Ham, and I talked a lot about Cush in Arabia and how Cush and Shem were interacting, and Abraham is part of that. We see that Abraham has some Hamitic lineage, yeah. And yeah, so I really feel like most of the Bible interpretation, when they're talking about the Book of Jubilees and the Book of Enoch and the Book of when they talk about the Nephilim, there's a lot of speculation involved, right? And you can clearly see that if you're calling Nimrod a Nephilim, basically you're saying that Abraham has that dirty blood. Yeah. My own personal opinion after reading the Book of Jubilees and the Book of Enoch, I just make a clear distinction. For me, I don't know why. The way I see it is that I think there's a difference between a fallen angel and a demon. Yeah, and so I believe that when they say that the Nephilim were there on the earth before and after the after could be just demons, spirits, though, because since the Nephilim didn't have a body. Yeah, they didn't have a body after. When you read the Book of Enoch and the Book of Jubilees, clearly you can see that they died and their souls started wandering, and then so those are evil spirits, right? Yeah, but they have some human element to them, linked to probably the line of Cain. Those are what I'm picking from after reading the Book of Enoch and reading the Book of Jubilees. Yeah, I would say that the way to explain that there were Nephilim before and after is that there are demons still roaming today. Yes, the Book of Jubilees says that Noah prayed, and then Prince Mastema, he prayed against Prince Mastema, and then Prince Mastema pleaded with God that some of the fallen angels or demons or his legion, some of them need to stay on earth. Yeah, but me personally, just looking at this narrow window of maybe just accepting the Book of Enoch and not accepting the Book of Jubilees, because of some churches are different. Yeah, but anyway, when you look at that apocrypha, what it's basically saying is that, especially even in the Book of Jubilees, you see that the Nephilim are not necessarily giants, because they are Elders. Anyway, you can see my videos. I've made a lot of videos about the Nephilim and the Book of Enoch and the Book of Jubilees. I even talked about the Book of Adam and Eve. But in a nutshell, you can see here that Nimrod was a direct ancestor of Abraham. Yeah, and even when you look at the other line, when people like to say that maybe it's Ham who the Nephilim bloodline sneaked into, you can even see that there's also, apart from Princess Azurad, I like calling the other one Princess Asenath, the wife of Joseph, who an Egyptian woman who led to two tribes, Ephraim and Manasseh, two tribes of Israel, were from a Hamitic woman called Asenath. And there's an apocryphal book called the Book of Asenath. But basically, when you look at there, and you see, like, for example, we say that one of the famous leaders in the tribe of Ephraim and Manasseh is Joshua. You see, Joshua had that Hamitic bloodline. So when you say that maybe Ham's wife was part of the Nephilim, does that mean that Israel's blood was polluted? See, there are a lot of gaps in that interpretation. That's why in my videos I've been rejecting that, and also I've talked a lot about the curse of Ham, and there are some of those interpretations that I solely don't agree with. Anyway, today was all about Nimrod from the Book of Jubilees, not from the Book of Jasher. Some people who read the Ethiopian Bible say that they don't really portray Nimrod as a evil person, but the whole empire was wicked. Anyway, for now, let me just stick to this interpretation, the small entry of Nimrod in the Book of Jubilees, where he's just portrayed as an ancestor of Abraham.